Volcanoes are one of nature's most formidable forces. They are symbols of raw, untamable power. For most of us, they represent danger, a world of fire and ash best observed from a great distance. We see mountains that can reshape landscapes in a single violent breath. Yet, if we look closer, we find that life has a remarkable way of adapting to even the most extreme environments. In the vast Indonesian archipelago, a chain of volcanic islands known as the Ring of Fire, there exists a place that really defies our expectations. It is a world nestled within the very heart of one of these sleeping giants. Here, inside the steep protective walls of a volcanic crater, a community has not only survived, but has flourished for generations. This is the story of the crater dwellers. Their home is an island, but not one surrounded by the sea. It is an island of land surrounded by the deep, mysterious waters of a crater lake, which itself is cradled by the caldera of a massive volcano. From the outside world, one might only see the imposing silhouette of the mountain against the sky. But for the people who live here, this volcanic cone is not a threat. It is a sanctuary. It is their provider, their protector, and the very foundation of their existence. They have learned to read its moods, to understand its subtle language, and to live in a delicate balance with its immense power, a dance that has continued for centuries. Imagine waking not to the sound of city traffic, but to the gentle lapping of crater lake water and the sight of volcanic steam rising in the cool morning air. This is the daily reality for the families here. Their children play on slopes formed by ancient lava flows, and their homes are built on soil enriched by volcanic ash. They cultivate gardens that are extraordinarily fertile, yielding crops that sustain their community. This existence challenges our fundamental ideas about safety and home. It forces us to ask a profound question. What makes a place livable? Is it the absence of risk, or is it the deep, unbreakable connection to a land that provides for all of your needs? Here, humanity's relationship with nature is not one of dominion, but of partnership. The people do not seek to conquer the volcano, they seek to coexist with it. They have woven its presence into the fabric of their culture, their beliefs, and their daily routines. Their story is a powerful testament to human resilience and our incredible capacity to find stability in the most volatile of settings. It is an untold epic of survival, adaptation, and profound respect for the natural world. This island, cradled in the arms of a volcano, is more than just a geological curiosity. It is a living, breathing example of how life, in all its tenacity, can find a home in the heart of fire. The first written accounts of this extraordinary place came from intrepid European explorers in the 19th century. Sailing through the Indonesian islands, they were drawn by tales of a mountain that held a secret world. After an arduous trek up the volcano's steep, jungle-clad slopes, they reached the crater rim. What they saw left them breathless. Below them, nestled in the caldera, was a sight that seemed to belong to a lost world. A vast, shimmering lake filled the crater, and in its center, like a jewel, sat a small, green island dotted with homes. It was a scene of almost unbelievable tranquility, hidden within a landscape known for its explosive violence. Their journals speak of a mixture of awe and disbelief. They describe the impossible blue of the lake and the emerald isle that seemed to float upon its surface. They noted the wisps of steam rising from fumaroles along the crater's edge, a constant, gentle reminder of the immense heat simmering just below. The explorers struggled to reconcile the peaceful, idyllic scene with the scientific knowledge that they were standing on the precipice of a geological time bomb. They wrote of the islanders themselves, who greeted them not with fear but with a calm curiosity. The people seemed to possess a deep serenity, a quiet confidence born from generations of living in this unique sanctuary, a world unto themselves. The local people, of course, had their own stories, passed down not in written journals but through oral tradition. For them, the volcano was not simply a geological feature, it was a living entity, a powerful spirit. Their ancestors did not see a dangerous crater but a protective bowl, a divine gift. Folk tales spoke of a great mountain god who, in an act of immense kindness, had scooped out the heart of the mountain to create a safe haven for his chosen people. The lake was his watchful eye, and the island was a cradle he had placed within it. These beliefs shaped their entire worldview, fostering a deep spiritual connection to their environment that the visiting explorers could only begin to comprehend. This spiritual understanding was the islanders' own form of science. It was a way of making sense of their world, of explaining its origins and their place within it. While the explorers saw geological forces, the locals saw the actions of a benevolent deity. This sacred relationship meant the mountain was to be respected, not feared. They believed that as long as they lived in harmony with the mountain, honoring it with rituals and gratitude, it would continue to protect them. This profound cultural and spiritual bond was, and remains, the bedrock of their society. It is the invisible force that has held their community together in the face of unimaginable power for centuries. For modern scientists, this crater island is a living laboratory, a place of immense geological interest. They come not with the romantic awe of early explorers, but with seismometers, gas sensors, and satellite imaging equipment. Their mission is to understand the delicate balance that allows this community to exist. The primary focus of their study is the volcano's state of quiescence, a period of slumber that is far from absolute. It is a state of relative stability, but one that could change with little warning. Scientists constantly monitor the subtle tremors, the temperature of the ground, and the chemical composition of the gases that vent from the earth, looking for any sign of reawakening. The soil on the island is a key part of the story. It is incredibly rich and fertile, a direct gift from the volcano itself. Over centuries, periodic small-scale ash falls have deposited layers of nutrient-dense minerals, creating a perfect medium for agriculture. This volcanic soil, known as andesol, is light, porous, and retains water exceptionally well. It allows the islanders to grow an abundance of fruits, vegetables, and spices with minimal effort. This natural bounty is the economic backbone of the community. It is the reason they are not just surviving here, but thriving. The volcano, the very thing that poses the greatest threat, is also their most generous provider, a paradox that really defines their existence. However, the scientific data also reveals a tapestry of constant underlying risks. The most immediate danger is not always a dramatic eruption, but the invisible threat of volcanic gases. Carbon dioxide and hydrogen sulfide, both heavier than air, can seep from fissures in the ground. In calm weather, these gases can accumulate in low-lying areas, creating deadly, unseen pockets. The islanders have learned through generations of experience to recognize the danger signs, such as the sudden wilting of plants or the unusual behavior of animals. They have adapted by building their homes on slightly higher ground and ensuring good ventilation, simple yet life-saving architectural choices born from an intimate understanding of their environment. The crater lake also plays a crucial dual role. While it provides a sense of isolation and security, it also presents a unique hazard known as a limnic eruption. This is a rare event where dissolved carbon dioxide can suddenly erupt from the deep waters of the lake, forming a suffocating cloud that displaces the breathable air. Scientists study the lake's stratification, measuring gas concentrations at different depths to assess this risk. The lake, therefore, is both a barrier and a potential threat. It is this complex interplay of risk and reward, of danger and provision, that makes life here so precarious, yet so strangely and beautifully sustainable for those who call it home. The crater lake is more than just a body of water. It is the heart of this unique ecosystem. Its stunning turquoise color is not just for show, it is a chemical signature. The vibrant hue is caused by dissolved minerals, primarily sulfur and copper sulfate, which leach into the water from the volcanic system below. This mineral-rich water is highly acidic, making it inhospitable to most forms of aquatic life that one might find in a typical lake. There are no large fish to be caught here. Instead, the lake supports a unique ecosystem of extremophile bacteria and algae, organisms that have evolved to thrive in these harsh chemical conditions, painting the water with its otherworldly colors. This chemical composition has a profound impact on the islanders' way of life. They cannot drink the lake water directly, nor can they use it for irrigating most of their crops. For fresh water, they rely entirely on collecting rainwater in large cisterns and tapping into small, precious freshwater springs that emerge on the island itself. These springs are considered sacred, a direct gift from the mountain spirit, providing pure water in the midst of an acidic lake. This dependence on rainwater has shaped their architecture and their daily habits, fostering a deep-seated culture of water conservation. Every drop is valued, and its careful management is a community-wide responsibility. Scientists are particularly fascinated by the lake's role as a buffer for the volcano's magmatic system. The immense volume of water acts like a lid on a pressure cooker, exerting enormous pressure on the magma chamber deep below. This pressure can help to suppress smaller, more frequent eruptions, contributing to the volcano's long periods of stability. However, it also carries a risk. If magma were to rise and come into direct contact with the lake water, it could trigger a catastrophic phreatic eruption, an explosive steam-driven blast of incredible force. The lake is therefore both a guardian and a potential catalyst for disaster, a delicate balance that scientists monitor with the utmost seriousness. The lake also serves as a historical record, a silent witness to the volcano's past. By drilling into the sediment at the bottom of the lake, geologists can extract core samples that reveal layers of ash from past eruptions, almost like tree rings. Each layer tells a story of the volcano's activity, allowing scientists to build a timeline of its eruptive history stretching back thousands of years. This deep understanding of its past behavior is crucial for predicting its future. The lake, in its silent depths, holds the secrets to the mountain's temper, providing clues that help protect the people living so bravely upon its surface. Living in such an environment requires more than just luck. It demands constant adaptation. The islanders have developed a unique set of skills and knowledge passed down through generations. Their architecture is a prime example. Houses are traditionally built from lightweight, flexible materials like bamboo and woven palm leaves. These structures are not designed to resist the force of an earthquake or eruption, but to yield to it. They can sway and move with ground tremors. And if a building does collapse, its light materials minimize the risk of serious injury. Furthermore, they can be rebuilt quickly using readily available resources from the island, a practical approach to impermanence. Their agricultural practices are also finely tuned to the volcanic landscape. While the soil is rich, the islanders practice a form of terraced farming on the gentle slopes of their small island. This not only maximizes the available planting area, but also helps to prevent soil erosion during the heavy tropical rains. They cultivate a diverse range of crops, a strategy that ensures food security. If one crop fails due to a change in soil acidity or a pest outbreak, others will likely survive. This biodiversity in their gardens mirrors the biodiversity of the surrounding rainforest, a lesson learned from observing nature's own resilience and applying it to their own sustenance. The community has also developed an informal but highly effective early warning system based on environmental cues. They are deeply attuned to the language of the volcano. They know that a change in the color or smell of the steam from the fumaroles can signal a shift in the volcanic gases. They watch the behavior of birds and insects, which are often the first to react to subtle ground tremors or gas releases. If the lake water suddenly changes color or temperature, it is a topic of serious discussion throughout the village. This traditional ecological knowledge is a vital first line of defense, often providing warnings long before scientific instruments register a significant change. Beyond these physical adaptations, there is a profound psychological resilience. The islanders live with a level of background risk that would be unbearable for many. They have achieved this not by ignoring the danger, but by accepting it as a fundamental part of their world. This acceptance fosters a strong sense of community and mutual reliance. In times of uncertainty, they come together, sharing information, resources, and support. This social cohesion is perhaps their greatest adaptation, a powerful, invisible structure that allows them to face the unpredictable nature of their home not with constant fear, but with a calm, collective strength. The culture of the crater dwellers is a beautiful and intricate fusion of science and spirituality. Their daily lives are governed by a deep respect for the mountain, which they see as a living, breathing ancestor. This belief is not separate from their practical knowledge, but is interwoven with it. For example, the scientific understanding that building on high ground is safer from gas accumulation is complemented by the spiritual belief that one should not build too close to the sacred vents where the mountain breathes. One is a practical rule for survival. The other is a rule of respect for a deity. For the islanders, these two ideas are one and the same. Rituals are a central part of their relationship with the volcano. Each year, the community holds a major ceremony to honor the mountain spirit. Villagers prepare offerings of fruit, flowers, and rice, the very bounty that the volcano's soil has provided. These offerings are carried in a solemn procession to the edge of the crater lake and gently released into the water. It is an act of gratitude, a way of giving back to the provider and asking for continued protection and stability. These ceremonies are not born of fear, but of a profound sense of reciprocity. They reinforce the idea that their survival depends on maintaining a harmonious balance with the powerful forces that surround them. Folk tales and legends play a crucial role in educating the younger generations. Stories are told of ancient heroes who learned to listen to the mountain's whispers, and of foolish individuals who ignored its warnings and paid the price. One popular tale describes how the island was first settled by a family who was guided across the lake by a giant mythical bird, a servant of the mountain god. These stories are more than just entertainment. They are vessels of essential knowledge. They teach children to observe their surroundings, to respect the sacred places on the island, and to understand that their well-being is intrinsically linked to the health and mood of the volcano. This blend of tradition and observation is most evident during times of heightened alert. When scientific monitors show increased seismic activity, the official warnings from government agencies are received and respected. But this modern data is always interpreted alongside the traditional signs. Elders will gather to discuss the behavior of the fumaroles and the whispers of the wind. The final decision of whether to evacuate or to wait is made through a community consensus that weighs both the scientific data and the ancestral wisdom. It is a dual system of knowledge, where modern science and ancient tradition work hand in hand to ensure the survival of the community. The history of the island, passed down through generations, is punctuated by harrowing tales of the volcano's anger. The elders speak of a time, many generations ago, when the mountain awoke not with a gentle rumble, but with a fearsome roar. An eruption, smaller than a cataclysmic blast but devastating nonetheless, sent a column of hot ash and rock high into the sky. The sky turned dark for 3 days, and the fine gray ash rained down, blanketing their homes and their precious gardens. The lake water churned and hissed, and the very ground they stood on trembled with a relentless fury. During these terrifying events, the community's deep-rooted knowledge and social bonds were put to the ultimate test. They knew to seek shelter in protected ravines or sturdy communal longhouses, away from the direct path of falling debris. They shared their stored food and water, ensuring that the most vulnerable were cared for. The stories of this time are not just about the terror of the eruption, but also about the incredible acts of courage and cooperation that allowed their ancestors to survive. They speak of looking out for one's neighbors as if they were family, because in that moment of crisis, the entire village became a single, unified entity with one goal: to endure. The aftermath of such an eruption was a scene of devastation. The vibrant green island was transformed into a monochrome landscape of gray ash. Crops were destroyed, and the delicate balance of their existence was shattered. Yet these stories always end not with despair, but with resilience. The community immediately began the arduous process of rebuilding. They cleared the ash from their rooftops and their terraced gardens, knowing that this very ash would, in time, replenish the soil and make it even more fertile than before. They saw the eruption not as an end, but as a violent yet necessary part of a natural cycle of destruction and renewal. This cycle of rebirth is a core element of their identity. They have seen the mountain take away, but they have also seen it give back with even greater abundance. The memory of these disasters is not a source of trauma that drives them away. Instead, it is a source of strength and wisdom. It reinforces the lessons of their ancestors: to be prepared, to work together, and to have faith in the land's ability to heal itself. Surviving the mountain's fury has forged an unbreakable bond between the people and their volatile home, a bond tempered in fire and ash, and strengthened with every new sunrise over a healing landscape. Between the dramatic moments of volcanic activity lie long stretches of profound peace. These are the quiet years, decades at a time, when the volcano slumbers and life on the island settles into a gentle, predictable rhythm. It is in these periods that the true character of the community shines through. A typical day begins with the first light of dawn, painting the crater walls in soft shades of pink and orange. The air is cool and still, and the only sounds are the chirping of insects and the distant hissing of steam vents, a sound so constant it becomes a form of silence. Men and women head to their terraced gardens to tend their crops, their movements unhurried and efficient. The joy of the community is simple and deeply felt. It is found in the laughter of children playing games by the lakeshore, their voices echoing in the vast natural amphitheater of the caldera. It is found in the sharing of a meal, with families gathering to eat food that was grown just steps from their homes. It is present in the quiet moments of companionship, as neighbors sit together in the afternoon shade, weaving baskets or repairing fishing nets for the small freshwater springs. There is a palpable sense of contentment, a satisfaction that comes from a life of purpose, self-sufficiency, and close connection to one's family and community. During these peaceful years, the culture flourishes. Evening is a time for storytelling, when elders pass on the legends of the mountain and the history of their people. Music is played on handmade instruments crafted from bamboo and wood, the melodies carrying across the still water of the lake. The community is largely self-sufficient, but it is not entirely isolated. Traders occasionally make the long journey up the volcano and across the lake, bringing news from the outside world and trading goods like salt, sugar, and cloth for the islanders' exceptional coffee beans and spices. These visits are special occasions, a link to the wider world that does not disrupt their tranquil existence. These long periods of calm are essential. They allow the community to build, to grow, and to strengthen the social and cultural bonds that will be needed when the mountain eventually stirs again. The quiet years are not a time of forgetting the danger. They are a time of living fully in the present, of appreciating the immense gift of stability that the volcano has granted them. It is a life lived with an underlying awareness of impermanence, which, paradoxically, makes every peaceful day, every successful harvest, and every shared smile all the more precious. This quiet, joyful existence is the reward for their courage and resilience. Despite centuries of habitation and decades of scientific study, the crater island still holds many mysteries. One of the greatest unanswered questions is why this specific volcano is so remarkably stable compared to its more violent neighbors in the Ring of Fire. Geologists have theories about the size and depth of the magma chamber, the composition of the magma itself, and the regulating effect of the crater lake. But the precise combination of factors that creates these long periods of peace remains a subject of intense research. The mountain seems to have found a unique equilibrium, a geological sweet spot that allows life to flourish where it seemingly should not. Another enduring mystery is the story of the first settlement. The oral traditions speak of a mythical journey, but the archaeological and historical details are scarce. How did the first settlers manage to cross the vast, acidic crater lake? Did they build sophisticated rafts from materials found on the volcano's slopes? What compelled them to leave the relative safety of the outside world and establish a new home in such a formidable location? Was it pressure from conflict, a search for new fertile land, or a spiritual calling? The answers are lost to time, leaving us with a fascinating puzzle about the origins of this unique and isolated culture. Scientists are also puzzled by certain unique biological adaptations found on the island. Some species of plants seem to have developed a higher tolerance for the acidic soil and the sulfurous air than their counterparts outside the crater. There are insects and birds that appear to be endemic to this small, isolated ecosystem, having evolved in unique ways. Unraveling the genetic secrets of these organisms could provide valuable insights into how life adapts to extreme environments. The island is not just a geological wonder, but a self-contained evolutionary experiment, with new discoveries potentially waiting under every leaf and stone. Perhaps the most profound mystery is a human one. Why do they stay? In an age of global mobility, where younger generations often leave rural communities for cities, the crater island has maintained a remarkably stable population. Families choose to remain, generation after generation, despite knowing the risks and having access to the outside world. This decision seems to defy modern logic, which often prioritizes safety and economic opportunity above all else. The answer likely lies beyond simple explanations, rooted in a deep, intangible sense of belonging, a spiritual connection to the land that is more powerful than fear and stronger than the pull of the modern world. The story of Indonesia's crater dwellers is, in the end, a profound reflection on the human condition. It challenges our modern perception of home as a place of absolute safety and comfort. It suggests that home can also be a place of accepted risk, where a deep connection to the land and community provides a different, more profound kind of security. These islanders have not conquered nature. They have learned to live within it, to respect its power, and to accept its terms. Their existence is a masterclass in resilience, a living testament to our species' ability to adapt and find beauty in the most unlikely of places. Their lives teach us a vital lesson for our time. In a world where we often feel disconnected from the natural environment, the crater dwellers show us what it means to live as a part of an ecosystem, not apart from it. Their blend of ancient wisdom and practical observation is a model for sustainable living. They understand that their well-being is not separate from the health of the volcano, the lake, and the soil. They embody a principle that we are slowly beginning to relearn on a global scale: that humanity's survival is intrinsically linked to the health and stability of our planet. The courage and grace with which they face their daily reality should inspire us. They have chosen a life that requires constant awareness and deep respect for the forces that are far beyond their control. This choice fosters not fear, but humility and a strong sense of community. It is a powerful reminder that some of life's greatest rewards come from embracing challenges, not just avoiding them. The richness of their culture, the joy in their daily lives, and the strength of their social bonds are all fruits of this courageous choice to live in the heart of a sleeping giant. And so, we are called to look for other such stories across our remarkable planet. From the frozen landscapes of the Arctic to the sun-scorched deserts of Africa, humanity has found ways to thrive in extreme environments. These communities hold invaluable knowledge about resilience, adaptation, and our true place in the natural world. The story of the Volcano Islanders is not just about one isolated community. It is a universal tale. It is a celebration of the enduring, indomitable, and endlessly adaptable spirit of humankind, a spirit that can and does find a way to build a home and live a joyful life, even in the very heart of fire.